Good afternoon to both of you. Um, First question, really for you, Brendan. Tom obviously missed the under-21s match with Sweden the other night. He was photographed partying till all hours in the morning. What have you got to say about that?
Obviously, Tom feels that he's let his country down, he's let his club down. He's under 21. It's difficult for these young players. They're in a certain bubble. Sometimes we all make mistakes. We've all made mistakes in our lives, but they're slightly more high profile than normal average Joe, and these things get recorded and put out there. Some of it I don't believe to be actually true. Some of the evidence from some of the red tops I'm not entirely convinced about. After I've spoken to Tom, I've spoken to Gareth Southgate, the under-21 manager. He knows he's let himself down. He knows he's let our club down. But we're allowed to make mistakes. Let's hope he can push on from here.
What does this mean for you, Tom, for club and country?
I'm hoping it doesn't affect me too much. Obviously, we all make mistakes, as Brendan just said. I'm only young, but obviously, I'm trying to get back on my feet and try and make a name for myself on the pitch rather than outside the pitch.
There's been a lot of speculation in the press in the last few weeks that actually you've been talking to Manchester United. How do you feel that your career at Liverpool is at the moment? You obviously haven't re-signed your the contract that's been offered to you. Can you shed any light on that?
Well, I don't want to speculate too much, but obviously there is a few conversations behind closed doors regarding that. But we'll keep that tight at the moment. Don't want to get anyone excited or anything like that.
Brendan, obviously a revelation there from what Tom said, that there have been discussions between his agent and Liverpool. How do you feel about that?
I'm very positive about that. It means that there's an open dialogue. He's got another year left on his contract. He's still a Liverpool player. He'll still be a Liverpool player because he's still got a year on his contract. We don't want him to go anywhere. We've been talking with the senior executive and myself. We've been laid out quite a decent 5-year deal with good incentives, good progression package, and the idea of him going to Manchester United is just nonsense. People don't travel from Liverpool to Manchester United, and certainly not going to happen in this case.
Okay. Obviously, 4 weeks ago, you were photographed, I say, taking what appeared to be legal highs. Obviously, 2 nights ago, you were out partying until 3 a.m. What do you think the role of a young professional footballer is with regards to being a role model? What expectations do you think there are on you?
Well, obviously, we're under huge pressure to obviously guide the young generations. I don't want to be shown doing anything that I shouldn't be. It's like I said, I want to make my name on the football pitch rather than showing what I shouldn't be doing. At the end of the day, I'm young. I'm playing football. I'm playing football 6-7 days a week. I want to have a little bit of time to myself. Everything does get recorded, as you said. It was photographed, so there's no getting away from that. But I do want to apologise. But I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just trying to, have fun, trying to live my life like a young lad.
Obviously, just coming back to the point that was raised earlier, you were photographed at 3 a.m. holding hands with another woman walking into a hotel. Have you spoken with your family about this incident, Tom?
With regards to my family and my personal life and what goes on with them, I'm not actually prepared to talk to you about this, so if that's the way you want to go, the press conference with me is over.
Okay, on that note, Brendan.
I'd just like to say here, he's only a young player. You lot are digging and attacking him and you've upset him. Okay, you've got to get off his back, you've got to let him want to play football again, instead of building people up and then breaking them down. It's a shame. It's a real shame.
But surely he's got a responsibility, Brendan. Surely this is, as a young man, okay, he's a role model to many young children, surely.
I agree that football players are a role model, but he's been placed into a role model role with very little training, and you're building up to be a role model before he has the chance to develop into a role model. He's 21 years old. Role models are sometimes of greater age, 40, 50, 30. He's 21, he's just a boy that can play football very well. People should just give him a little bit of a break so he can represent his country at all levels and show what he really can do.
With regards to the ability that obviously Tom has, you talked last week about strengthening your squad, bringing in players of a similar calibre to Tom. We're hearing rumours that you might be quite active during the transfer window. Can you shed any light on this?
We have money to spend, everyone knows that. We're searching around for the right players to fit into my system to work for this football club, but they've got to want to come here. They've got to know the Anfield way. They've got to play for the Reds. We've got a few irons in the fires. We've been looking abroad. There's a few signings over in. There's a few players that are on the market, big players that can come in and do a job straight away. We're looking at. We've been talking to Real Madrid about a few players over there. We've been investigating in Spain. So we're doing some business. Hopefully we can get all our business done well before the end of the transfer window, so these players have got some time to bed in.
Thanks very much for your time, Brendan.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Ellie Westcott, England women's captain. First and foremost, how's the World Cup been for you?
World Cup's been really good this year. We've all really enjoyed ourselves, got such a strong team, have a really good bond, worked hard, and I feel like that's really shown on the pitch this year. So I feel like it's gone really well.
Obviously, FIFA 16 has introduced women's football onto the game for the first time in its history. What impact do you feel that that has on aspiring young footballers?
I feel like that has a really high impact on aspiring young footballers because the young women especially now feel like there's more equality between the men and the women in the football game, whereas that never used to come across like that. It always used to be that the men took the higher seat in the role of football rather than women. And now I feel like, now it's shown on FIFA 16, the young women are going to feel more encouraged to play the football rather than just the men.
Obviously, BBC has decided to show an increased coverage of women's football throughout this World Cup campaign, and you've also received great support from professional players on Twitter. What impact has that had on, obviously, your team throughout this World Cup?
The support on Twitter from the male pros has been amazing. They've really helped our team progress through the tournament and encouraged us so much, and without the support we wouldn't have not got as far as we have. So I think that's been really good, and the coverage on the BBC has just been, it's made women's football seem so much more important, and I feel like it's really encouraging all the young females to take part in women's football, and it's giving that equality between the men and the women in football.
Obviously, you've had a really successful 2015, but where do you see women's football in the next 4 years, perhaps at the next World Cup?
Well, I can see us being really successful in the next World Cup and being top leaders in the world, and maybe even going on to win the next tournament would be a big aspiration of ours, and I feel like it's really possible now after the success we've had in this tournament, so yeah.
Okay, if you were a betting woman, who would your odds be on to win this tournament then, Ellie?
Oh, definitely Germany. I feel like they're just obviously the favourite to win, and they've just got such amazing talent. They're just amazing footballers and really talented team.
Obviously, the women's team should be credited with their role on and off the pitch. They have been acting as great role models for both young women and males in the game as well. What advice would you give to any aspiring young girls who are looking to get into football?
Any aspiring young girls that want to get into women's football, I feel like you should just go for it, because it doesn't matter if you don't think you have the talent. You can easily learn, and it's just such an amazing sport, and the more people that get on board with it is just the better. So I feel like you should just really go for it and get involved.
With an increased number of female professionals moving out to the United States to go and pursue salaries of 50, 60,000 plus, Where do you think the women's game in our country stands with regards to finances and wage salaries compared to the men in the Premier League?
Well, I think that the wages is out of proportion between men and women, and I feel like it's really wrong, and something needs to be done about it. I feel that we need more encouragement, more support, and more finances, because at the end of the day, we're both working just as hard for the same game. So that's what I feel.
Andy, you've just won Queen's for the fourth time, one of only a select few tennis players to achieve that feat. How does that prepare you mentally ready for Wimbledon?
I was very happy with my performance at Queen's. I mean, winning it for the fourth time, only a very select players have done that, and I'm very proud to say that I'm one of them. That's going to prepare me very well for Wimbledon, and I feel like after I had a minor injury at Queen's on my shoulder, but after that I'm going to feel very prepared for Wimbledon, and I think I'm going to be in a good state of mind to carry on and hopefully win the performance.
Andy, how does it feel to have the hopes of a nation resting on you in anticipation for Wimbledon?
It's a great feeling to have always the nation behind you, all your fans, to play for my country. It's a great place to be. Although it comes with a lot of pressure, I do love it, playing for my nation and supporting the country.
Just over a year ago, you took on Amelie Mauresmo as your coach, and you were one of only a few tennis players to employ a female coach. What impact has she had on this season, Andy?
Well, I wanted to make a change, and I thought a female coach was a good way to see how it was going to take me. But she has improved my game a lot, and she has improved my confidence, and mentally she has just helped a lot, and she has taught me loads of new shots which I've perfected, and overall she is a great coach, and I hope to carry on with her through the years.
Last time you won Wimbledon was 2 years ago, and you were second in the world. You've dropped down to a ranking of third, Andy. What do you think about the competition in male tennis this year?
The competition is great. I mean, we've got Djokovic, Federer and Nadal, all great players. I love playing against them. It creates a good competition and good for everybody to watch across the world.
Hi there, Andy. Mike Johnson here from The Times. You recently wrote on the end of a Camerlin's marriage works after winning the tournament. How has your relationship with Kim affected your training and recent matches, and also how will this affect you in future matches in Wimbledon?
Well, finally I've got married to Kim. I love her very much, and she supports my career. I'm very happy on and off the field at the moment. It's helped my career a lot since the marriage, and she's a great supporter of me playing tennis, and she comes and watches every single match, and she said she's going to be there for Wimbledon, and we're going to have a great celebration, and hopefully I can win it and bring the home title for the nation.